Okay, let's take a look at one of the trickiest epithelial types inside of anatomy and histology, and that's going to be pseudostratified epithelium. So pseudostratified, the prefix pseudo means false, and stratified means layered. So a pseudostratified epithelium is falsely layered. So it's going to appear as if the cells are stacked upon one another, but in reality they are not. So what that means is that in reality, all of the cells are going to touch the basement membrane. So that's a key important aspect to define a pseudostratified epithelium, is that all of the cells will touch that basement membrane. Now, in a simple epithelium, all cells touch the basement membrane, but in a stratified epithelium, not all of the cells touch that basement membrane because they're truly stacked. So in a pseudostratified epithelium, the cells look like they're stacked, but all of the cells are going to touch the basement membrane. So to look at this, we're going to look at this section of the trachea here, and this is going to be our epithelium that we're going to take a look at. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this region here to get a closer look at that pseudostratified epithelium. All right, here's our zoomed in view of that pseudostratified epithelium. So if we look at the nuclei of this epithelium, it looks like the nuclei are sort of stacked upon one another. But if we look at the cells, this cell here, notice it touches the basement membrane. So this is going to be our basement membrane here. So this cell touches that basement membrane. This cell touches that basement membrane. This cell touches the basement membrane. All of the cells touch the basement membrane. So a general rule of thumb to think about pseudostratified epithelium is that if a single cell, you can draw a line from the basement membrane all the way to the apical surface and only cross through one cell, by definition, it cannot be stratified. So if I look here at this cell here with this dark staining nucleus, this cell touches the basement membrane, and I can draw a line all the way through that cell up to the apical surface. So because I can do that, this cannot be a stratified epithelium. So this is going to be pseudostratified epithelium. All of the cells touch that basement membrane. Now, not all of the cells have to touch the apical surface. There are specialized cells in pseudostratified epithelium known as basal cells. Okay, and basal cells touch the basement membrane, but do not touch the apical surface. So I recommend you go watch the short on epithelial and pseudostratified epithelium to take a look at the basal cells. Another way that we can sort of identify pseudostratified epithelium is that pseudostratified epithelium is always going to be columnar in nature. Okay, so these cells are this wide, they're this tall, they are taller than they are wide. This is a columnar epithelium. So right, I see that and I say, okay, this could be pseudostratified because it looks stratified and it's columnar. The other way that we can tell is pseudostratified epithelium tends to be ciliated. So these little wispy things out here facing into the lumen, these are cilia. So pseudostratified epithelium tends to be ciliated. So if I see a columnar epithelium that is ciliated, I'm immediately starting to think about pseudostratified epithelium and on the lookout for that.